All right, very good.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Ask.
After lack of round, are you going to give notes or do you have to make notes from the textbook? You have to send notes, I think.
For which topic?
In the fourth chapter, in fifth chapter, molecular basis, after lack of round, you have to give notes. You told us to
After
leave
the lac
pages.
no, no, see, after the lac operon is done, all that is there in the NCRT. That is enough. You don't require any additional notes. You just have to study that. Okay. And if you require the notes, I'll provide you. Do you people require the notes? Because
Um,
that's like very chapter, like every point to point. There's nothing else that I can give you in the notes. It's like all that is there in the textual matter of the NCRT. That's all you people need to know. So if you want the notes, I can give you the notes, no problem. Just tell me that. Okay.
okay, ma'am, thank you.
All right. So in the previous class, we had discussed about malaria, right? So we saw how plasmodium is the causative agent of malaria, and it has a lot of species present which cause different kinds of malaria in human beings. Now, when I talk about the Plasmodium falciparum, this one is the most deadliest kind of protozoan, and it causes malignant malaria. Okay. Now, this kind of malaria that is malignant, it is the most feared one. It is the most fatal, and by fatal I mean that it can lead to death. Now, malaria is caused by the bite of a female mosquito, that is Anopheles mosquito. Now, here the mosquito, since it carries the pathogen for malaria, so it is the vector or the carrier of the disease, that is malaria. Now, talking about the life cycle of the plasmodium. So, starting from when it bites the human beings. Okay, so the female Anopheles mosquito comes and bites the human being. Now, whenever the female mosquito bites, the sporozoids are injected into the blood. Sporozoids. Okay, so imagine sporozoids as being that infectious part that comes in, or you can say the parasite that causes malaria that comes into our bloodstream. Now, what happens? These sporozoids, once they enter the bloodstream, see, and why does the biting of the Anopheles mosquito causes the pathogen to be transmitted into the human being's blood? Have you people ever noticed while you drink anything from a straw? Have you noticed how you take one sip and after you're done, half of it goes back into the glass? Have you ever noticed this? Since you like the glass is full of water or juice or coffee or anything, and you take a sip, so half of it comes into your mouth, then the rest half goes back down. You people have noticed that? Everyone has noticed that? Hmm. So exactly same thing happens when the mosquito bites. So the mosquito has to take the blood of human beings. So it does, or she, since it is a female mosquito, what it does is that it takes or sucks up the blood. And while it is sucking up the blood, again, the whole entire motion is like sucking anything through the straw. So some of it goes back into the blood. That is why the sporozoids are released into the blood. Now, after the sporozoids are released into the blood, they reach the liver. With the help of the bloodstream, they go into the liver of our body. Now, in the liver, they start reproducing asexually. So, asexual reproduction takes place in the liver. And what happens? The liver cells, and then they burst the cells and like they release into the blood. So after sexual reproduction is done in them, so once they are out of the liver cell, and how do they come out of the liver cell? They burst the cell and come out into the blood yet again. Okay. Now from like after being released into the blood, they go into the red blood cells. Okay. They go into the red blood cells, that is our RBC erythrocytes. Now the parasites, they reproduce asexually in the red blood cell, and then again, after reproduction is done, they burst the red blood cell and come out of it. So bursting it and being released in the bloodstream. Now, during that particular time, the new, you can say, sporozoids that are formed by the asexual reproduction, they again infect new red blood cells and then again release from that. So in this way, all of these things, they keep on happening. So in the liver also there is asexual reproduction happening, and in the red blood cells also there is asexual reproduction happening. So parasites reproduce asexually in red blood cells, bursting the red blood cell and causing cycles of fever and other symptoms. Now, during this particular time wherein they are bursting the RBCs and being released into the blood, along with that, they are also releasing a toxin in our body which is known as hemozoin. So whenever the RBCs they burst, a toxin called as hemozoin, they get released into the blood. And because of the presence of this particular toxin, during this stage of malaria, the person who has it undergoes cycles of fever, meaning sometimes the fever is really high, sometimes it's not, and many other symptoms are also there. Now, after this asexual reproduction has been done, the new cells that are formed, they go into the red blood cells yet again. Now what they do the sexual stage in the red blood cell. So they start developing a proper sexual stage. Now see, up until now, all the events that I have explained, all of these things take place inside the body of the organism, meaning human being. Clear? Any doubts up until now? This half of the life cycle is clear to you all? Every single one in the classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did I only get 3 yes, and what about the others? Did you not understand?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Hmm?
Can you repeat?
Yeah, I'll repeat. What about others? Amna and Mariam Lohani. You people
Yes,
are there
ma'am.
in the class? You've understood this thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, students, what happens? Let's talk about this half of the life cycle of Plasmodium. Okay, we're going to talk about the human half. So the mosquito is coming. It will land on the skin and then it will pierce into the skin so as to suck the blood. Now, after, like while it is sucking the blood, the sucking motion of the mosquito, since it is an insect, it is a suctorial type, meaning just like how the suction from a straw happens. So through that, the sporozoite, which is the infectious stage of Plasmodium, that gets released into the blood. Now, after it has been released into the blood, it goes into the liver. Like with the help of the bloodstream only, it goes into the liver. Now, inside the liver, it starts reproducing asexual, meaning asexual reproduction takes place in the liver. Now, what it does once the asexual reproduction has been completed, it bursts open the liver cells and get released into the blood yet again. This is the first asexual stage that happens in them. Now, after they get released into the blood, they again migrate to the RBC. Now they target the red blood cell. Now, after reaching the red blood cell, what will they do? They'll start asexual reproduction yet again. And now, after the reproduction has been done, they want to move out of it. So again, they'll burst the RBCs open and get released into the bloodstream yet again. Now, while they are, you can say, bursting open the RBCs, they are also releasing a toxin in the body of human beings that is known as hemozoin. This hemozoin is the toxin which is released during the bursting of RBC. This is very important. Many a times the name of the toxin is also asked. Now, because of this, since it is a toxin and it is being released in the body of humans, what it does is like while the RBCs are bursting, we suffer from a lot of cycles of fever. Like sometimes the fever would go really high, sometimes it won't. Sometimes the body temperature will be normal or even below. So these things and many other symptoms associated with it also happens. Now, after the RBCs have been released, they go and attack different RBCs. And now they start performing their sexual cycle. That is the formation of gametes. Now they will move on to the sexual reproduction part. So inside the red blood cell, they would develop the gametes. Any doubts up until now? This part of the life cycle of Plasmodium is clear to you all? All right,
Yes, ma'am.
very good. Okay. Now what happens is that after the gametocytes have been made inside the red blood cells, so now the humans, they have gametocytes in their blood. Now when another mosquito comes to bite, another female mosquito comes to bite, she again sucks up the blood, and along with the blood, the gametocytes are also sucked up by the female mosquito. Okay, imagine it as being like the boba tea. The boba is also going along with it. Okay, so now the female mosquito has taken up the gametocytes from our blood, and now the fertilization, the male and the female gamete, they get fertilized in the mosquito's intestine. Now remember, always remember students, the asexual cycle, it takes place in the human host, inside the human, but the main sexual stages, they take place inside the mosquito. Okay, so now the fertilization and development takes place inside the body of the mosquito, and then the mature or the infective stage of Plasmodium is the sporozoid. Now this sporozoid, it was developed inside the intestine because fertilization took place in the intestine. Now it will go into the salivary glands of mosquitoes, into the salivary glands. That is the reason why whenever a mosquito bites another healthy human, it transmits the sporozoites from its salivary glands. Clear? Because just like how in us humans, our mouths have salivary glands, and whenever we go to take a meal, what we do? Our mouths get filled up with saliva, isn't it? That is to aid the process of digestion, isn't it? So same way, while the mosquito is going to take the meal, the sporozoites are being released into the blood of human. Now, have you noticed one thing? That this plasmodium, which is a protozoan, it requires two hosts, isn't it? It requires human as a host for asexual stages, and then it requires mosquito. Like apart from being a carrier, mosquito is also a host. How many of you agree with this? How many of you agree with this? That mosquito is carrier of the disease also, as well as it is a host also. Everyone agrees? Very good. You people are right. So that is how it happens. And since the plasmodium requires two hosts to complete its life cycle, so the malarial parasite, which is plasmodium, this is known as digenetic. Digenetic means it requires two hosts to complete its life cycle. That is, it requires human and it requires the mosquito. So always remember that the mosquito works as a host as well as the vector. So malaria is clear to you all? Any doubts? Okay, very good. All right. Now we'll move on to amoebiasis. Okay, amoebiasis is yet another protozoal disease, and it is caused by Entamoeba histolytica. You people have heard about amoeba, right? They have this shape, isn't it? So same way, there is another kind of amoeba that has a proper name, Entamoeba histolytica. Now, the site of infection for this particular disease is the large intestine. Always remember that here the large intestine gets affected. Now, the symptoms of amoebiasis is constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, and stools with mucus and blood clots. So, all of these are the symptoms of amoebiasis. Now, houseflies, they act like a mechanical carrier for this particular disease. Because why? Because houseflies, they tend to sit on very dirty places, right? They tend to sit on the worst places you can imagine, like cow dung and all the excreta, animal excreta, dust, anything that is disgusting. It sits on that. And then it flies and comes and sits on our food, on our utensils and stuff, right? And when the person uses that, or when a person, once it sits on our food, it like dirties the food, it contaminates the food by producing fecal matter on it. And when we can't see it because it is so tiny, right? Houseflies are so small and their fecal matter is even smaller. So you can't actually make it out. And then we eat the food, we use the utensils, and then this uh, you can say pathogen, Entamoeba histolytica, gets transferred in our body. Now, those people that have a very good immune system, so they'll fight this disease, like fight this pathogen, and they'll not get amoebiasis. But let's just say there is someone who does not have a very well proper immune system, so they'll get caught by the disease. So houseflies are the carriers of this particular disease. Why? Because they contaminate the food. Now the drinking water and the food, both of these, they get contaminated by the fecal matter, and this becomes the main source of amoebiasis. So we have two diseases under the protozoan disease, that is malaria, the first one that we have studied, and then there is amoebiasis. Any doubts? Anything you people want to ask me?
No, ma'am.
No,
All
ma'am.
right. Okay. All right, now moving forward, we have helminth diseases, meaning all those diseases that are caused by worms. Now, this is where things get really gross. Okay, all of these diseases are caused by some form of worms. The first disease is Ascariasis, and the second disease is Filariasis or Elephantiasis. If you see the name of the first word, do you remember the roundworm Ascaris? Ascaris lumbricoides? How many of you remember this? Almost all of you remember this, right? You had this diagram in NCRT. This one?
Yes, ma'am. I also did a practical record on it.
Okay, so all of you remember. Now, this Ascaris is a very weird worm. We'll see how. See, Ascariasis is the disease which is caused by Ascaris. Okay, and here the site of infection is the small intestine. Again, how does a person get this particular disease? By having the contaminated water, fruits, and vegetables. Okay, now the symptoms for this particular disease, this internal bleeding of the small intestine. Imagine how severe it is. Internal bleeding, then there is muscular pain, fever, then loss of blood and also less blood in the body, that is anemia, and then also the blockage of the intestinal passage. So everything related with the intestine, the person is affected with it. Now, what happens is that the eggs of the parasite, they are excreted along with the feces of infected person, which contaminates the soil, water, plants, and everything. See what happens? Like, mainly this disease is of popularity when you talk about the village and the rural areas. Okay, now why? Because those people, because of the lack of literacy and because of the lack of money, they don't have proper sanitation facilities, right? We have proper washrooms in all of our houses, right? With flush and everything. But they don't have this facility with them, right? We can't blame them for this. But what happens is that for using, like for going to the restroom, they don't have a restroom available, so they go to the river sides or they go into the fields and stuff to relieve themselves. Now when their fecal matter has been released onto the ground or in the water body, that fecal matter contains the egg of Ascaris. And the most unique thing about the egg is that this egg has been made with such, you can say, protective measures that there is nothing that can destroy the eggs. It is so hard that it can persist in the environment for a long period of time. Now, this is from where the infected, you can say, the eggs are being released into the, either into the water, into the soil. Now, if it goes into the soil, then the plants will have it because the plants, they use the soil, right? And the vegetables and everything is made because of the soil only. And if it goes into the water, that water is used by them for cooking, right? For cleaning the house and everything, for all of the things. So once the person ingests this particular water or the plants or the fruits and vegetables made by this soil or water, infected water, so the person has the egg inside of his or her body, because of which all these severe symptoms take place. Dear students, so that is how scariasis is caused in the body of human beings. Now, what happens is that this particular worm, it develops properly inside the body of human beings, inside the small intestine, and it starts doing the process of reproduction. Okay. So, again, and many a times here in India, what happens is that there are many fruit vendors that sell fruits on their thelas. And like, for example, right now it is pineapple season. Okay, peak pineapple season. So there are many vendors selling pineapples. So what they do is that since not everyone is interested in buying the whole pineapple, so what he does is that he takes one pineapple and then he cuts it, makes pieces, and sell it as plates, like 20 rupees per plate and stuff. So like one plate has like two strips of pineapple present onto it. Okay, and then people buy it and enjoy the pineapple because there is no one who eats the whole entire pineapple. Now, anyway, that is his selling tactics. But what happens is the thing that is the scariest is that the water he is using. You never know what kind of water he is washing the pineapple with. Right now, the person who are going like they're like on the road and they eat from this vendor. Now that maybe the fruit has been washed with contaminated water. You never know. You can't see it. It's so microscopic. Now the person has it, and then the person develops the disease. Okay. So that is why it is advised. Now, you people, where you people live, you don't have this thing happening. So it's a good thing. But still, you people should pay attention to all of these things. Any doubts up until now? Ascariasis is clear to you all? All right.
Yes.
Very good. Now, the next helminthic disease or the worm disease is filariasis or elephantiasis. Now, all of you open your books and look at the picture of filariasis that has been given in your book. Everyone, open your NCERT book. If you don't have your book, you can get your book and then you can see your book. Have you people seen the diagram?
Yes, ma'am.
And let us discuss this particular disease. Now, the filariasis. Now, you people understand why the disease is named as elephantiasis? Hmm? Do you understand or not? Right? It's
Yes,
messed
ma'am.
up. I know it's messed up. Like, why would a person name this disease like that? I know it's messed up, but you people understand why. Okay. Now, this particular disease, it is caused by Wuchereria bancrofti or Wuchereria malayi. Okay. So these are the two kinds of pathogens that are that can cause this particular disease. Now, Wuchereria is a worm. Now, in this particular disease, it causes the slow chronic inflammation of the organs where they live. So, no, and mostly they infect the lymphatic vessels. You people remember the lymphatic system that is there in our body? If you remember body fluids and circulation, you might remember lymphatic system. So our body has lymphatic system, which is present mostly in the, like it is present all over the body, but these worms, they prefer the lymphatic vessels of the lower limbs. Okay, of the lower limbs, meaning the legs. Apart from that, the genital organs, they get also infected by this disease and it causes gross deformities, right? It becomes really huge, the whole entire leg that it is infecting, that also becomes really huge. It gets inflamed. Inflammation, you people understand? So inflammation meaning redness and all of that. And apart from that, it also gets swollen. So that is what happens in filariasis. Now, the vector for this particular disease is a female Culex mosquito. Okay, the female Culex mosquito causes the filariasis disease. Again, this happens by the bite of the female mosquito. So many a times you might have noticed that there are some mosquito. Again, you people cannot notice because of the way, like the places that you live. But if you come here in India, just try to notice that there are some mosquitoes that only bite you on your legs. They will not come anywhere upside to bite you. They'll mostly bite you in your legs, not your hands, not your face, nowhere. There are some general mosquitoes that bite you everywhere, no matter where you are sitting, no matter what you're wearing. If you're wearing full sleeves, also, then also they'll bite. That is something else. But there are some mosquitoes that favor only the leg areas. This is the reason why. Maybe some of them are Culex mosquitoes. So, up until now, can you people tell me what are the names of the mosquitoes that we have heard? We have heard three names, right? Tell me the three names of the mosquitoes. The first one is Culex. We just saw it. Name something else. Anopheles. Then,
Aedes.
very good, Aedes. So these are the mosquitoes that we have heard about. You people must remember which one is the carrier for which disease. Culex is the carrier for elephantiasis, right? Anopheles is the carrier for
Malaria.
malaria. Aedes is the carrier for
Dengue.
dengue and also chikungunya. Okay. All right. Chikungunya is a bacterial disease or viral disease?
Viral.
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 Okay. And dengue, is it a viral disease or bacterial disease?
Viral.
Tuberculosis
Viral.
is a, yes. Tuberculosis is a bacterial disease or viral disease?
Bacterial.
Bacterial.
Very good. Okay. What about rhinitis? Is it a viral
Viral.
or?
Viral.
Viral. Rhinitis. Viral.
Okay. Then what about cholera?
Bacterial.
Very good. It is caused by? Cholera is caused by? The name of the pathogen resides with the disease name.
It's
And it
something
has a
B
shape.
cholera. B
Vibrio
cholera.
cholera. Vibrio. Vibrio
Vibrio.
is for comma shape. All right. Okay. Now tell me, we haven't discussed this, but AIDS. AIDS is a viral disease or bacterial disease? If you people,
Viral.
very good.
Viral.
Very good. Okay. What else? Okay, tell me plague. Viral or
Viral.
bacterial?
Viral.
Bacterial.
Oh, bacterial.
Bacterial. It is a bacterial
TPP.
disease. Yes, TP. Very good. Yes. Okay. Tell me about typhoid.
Bacterial.
Bacterial.
Very good. What is the name of the test for typhoid?
Wide. Vital test.
Vital.
Vidal test. Very good. Why the rest of you are quiet? You people can also speak. You also have your unmute button. You people can use that too. Hmm? Only two students will speak in the class. What about the rest of you? You don't like talking to me? They don't like talking to me. Amna, Ikra, Khadija, Mariam Lohani, and Siddika. Siddika stays with her video on, but she never speaks anything. Your mic works? Siddika?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes,
happy
it
to hear
will.
that. So use it. If it works, then use it. All right. Okay. Was there any other disease that is left? Okay, tell me about this thing. Cancer. Is it a viral disease? Is it a bacterial disease? Cancer.
Bacterial.
Bacterial.
It is none of the. It is
It's
neither bacterial nor viral. Okay, what about malaria? What kind of disease is malaria?
Proto.
Protozoan disease. Okay, what kind of disease is hepatitis?
Viral.
Viral.
Okay, smallpox.
Viral.
Viral.
Does smallpox exist?
No.
No.
Why?
It
It
was
has been
eradicated
eradicated.
using vaccines.
Very good. Okay. Polio. What about it?
Viral.
Viral.
Diphtheria.
Bacterial.
Bacterial.
Bacterial?
Okay.
Bacterial. D.
Pneumonia.
Bacterial.
Bacterial. Bacterial.
Name the disease, pathogen which causes tetanus. Tetanus. Clostridium tetani. Okay. Is it a bacterial or a viral disease?
Bacterial.
Bacterial.
Very good. Okay. How does a person get tetanus?
Uh,
To the bacteria.
How? Like, how is the person having the tetanus disease? Like, malaria is caused by the bite of Anopheles mosquito. How does tetanus is caused?
The cut by a metal thing.
What? Say it again.
By getting a cut by a metal thing.
Very good. Okay, tell me about rabies. Is it a viral or a bacterial disease?
viral.
Viral disease.
Very good, viral disease. What happens in mumps?
Your face gets
Inflammation.
swollen.
Inflammation.
This
In this
area.
area.
The face gets swollen, but the swollen face appearance is not because of the face getting swollen. Rather, it is the swelling of
Salivary. Salivary
Salivary.
gland.
which
Swelling.
salivary gland. There is a name,
Ma'am.
parotid. Parotid salivary. Okay. There are many different kinds of salivary glands. We have sublingual, lingual, and parotid. So the parotid, which is here, that gets swollen. Very good. I'm so happy. Okay. Now moving forward, we'll talk about fungal diseases. Now these are the diseases that are caused by the fungi, and it belongs to these three general genus: Microsporum genus, Trichophyton genus, and Epidermophyton. These are the names of the genus. Okay. Now, what happens is that the fungal these genus or the members of these genus, they are responsible for causing ringworms, which is the most common disease in human beings. Now, what happens in this particular disease? Dry, scaly lesions on various parts of the body, such as skin, nails, and scalp. Like, if a person is having way too much dandruff production in their body, not body, head, way too much, like much more that is normal, like a proper layer of it is surrounding the whole entire scalp. It is a fungal disease. It is not normal dandruff. We understand that during winters and stuff, all of us get dandruff or because of the dry scalp, right? The skin also gets dry and everything. But those people that have a fungal problem, their whole entire scalp, starting from here, ending till here, it will get covered by a thick layer of it. That is a fungal disease. Now, many a times you might have noticed that some people have a blackish nail, like half of their nail gets black or the full entire nail gets black. Okay. Not because of dirt, but because like sometimes because of moisture or because if a person does not wash their hands properly or stuff, they get fungal growth underneath the nail bed. That is totally normal. It gets fine, but it is one of the thing that a person sees. Now, during the summertime, a person sweats a lot, right? Because the fungi, it has this property of growing very well under high temperature and also because of moisture. So in the crevices of the skin, for example, if this is the hand and if the hand sweats a lot, so this part, the part in between the fingers, that part can have the growth of the fungus in them. Same goes for the toe, the big toe and the next one. In between that, the crevice is there. There also the fungal growth can happen. Now, this also happens because of negligence towards hygiene. Now, intense itching starts after the lesion develops. Heat and moisture help these fungi to grow. They thrive well in the crevices of the skin folds because since it is folded, a lot of heat and a moisture is always being provided. Now, the ringworms, they are generally acquired from soil or by using towels, clothes, or even the comb of other people. So, a person must not do that. It is obviously so disgusting. So, a person must not use anyone else's comb, anyone else's towels, or even clothes. You should not share all of those things. Now, what happens? The fishes, such as Gambusia, they feed on the mosquito larva. I don't know why I have written this line over here, but this is sort of like a preventive measure for the mosquito borne diseases. If the mosquito gets a breeding area that is stagnant water, so they will make more and more eggs, which will result in the production of more and more mosquitoes. So the fishes such as gambusia, they, if they are released into the water body or wherever stagnant water is there, they'll eat up the mosquito larva. Okay. All right. Now talking about the vaccination. So the vaccination for smallpox, the vaccination for poliomyelitis, diphtheria, pneumonia, tetanus, all of these diseases, they can be prevented with the help of vaccination. And since because of that vaccination development only, now the deadliest disease, smallpox, does not any exist anymore. It has been eradicated. Okay. Now you people can note down till here. Then we'll move forward. From where do you have to note down?
Ma'am, we have to note down from after common cold.
After common cold.
Yes, ma'am.
This part is done. Symptoms and
Yes,
everything
ma'am.
of common cold.
Yes, ma'am.
And this, the name of the diseases and causative agents.
We wrote this.
Yes,
We have to
ma'am.
write from 3 to 7 days.
Oh,
Last
okay.
for about.
Okay. You people can note this down. Also, when you come to the malarial life cycle, you draw that roughly. Okay. Write the points and you draw that roughly so that you people, you know that will be asked in the question. You can
Ma'am,
switch off.
do we write the points with the diagram or do we write the points somewhere else?
You can write separately. You just write the points. And then later on, while you're studying, you can make the diagram or practice the diagram. You don't have to note down right now. If you are going to learn later, that was also fine with me. I just want you people to learn. That's it. Okay.
Thank you. Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students?
No, ma'am, 1 minute.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
1 minute, ma'am. Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Done. Done.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes.
Done, ma'am.
All
Done,
of
ma'am.
you are done?
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Done.
Done.
Everyone done?
Yes.
Done.
Done, ma'am.
Done.
Everyone's done?
1 minute, ma'am.